Welcome back. I'd like to start by thanking the volunteer crew and Shaw staff that makes the program happen every week. This is Tuesday, March the 8th, 2016. Our guest in this segment is Werner Simbeck. And Werner, we're going to be talking about climate change. And we were just talking about the urgency, because this climate change is like, can I say, on the back burner? And
it sure seems that way. I mean, if you were to listen to the scientists, and there's a number of them who are willing to now step up to the mic basically and really say it how it is, the urgency is very great. The situation is dire, really. But if you were to listen to what goes on in the media and you listen to some of the politicians, I mean, given credit to the Liberal governments, they are talking a lot about climate change, and they just had the conference over in Vancouver, bringing all the premiers together, basically. But we're still talking about pipelines. Pipelines should be off the table completely.
Well, okay, right? that conference just happened, the Prime Minister and all the premiers, yeah. And it wasn't made a big deal, like life or death, but it is life and death.
It is life and death.
The media portrayed it as, oh well,
if we don't, so if we don't, like, so what you hear is, oh, by 2030 or by 2050, if we don't reduce our emissions, we're going to be in dire straits. We're going to be in trouble. Well, no, we already are in trouble, right? So this last year, 2015, was the hottest on record. 2014 was the hottest on record, the year before that. 2016, the one that we're in now, is shaping up to be the hottest on record. It's getting faster, warmer, faster and faster. There's a thing called abrupt climate change, where things will happen so quickly, there's no way for living things to adapt. That's the fear that a lot of scientists have, that we already have gone too far. So really, if that is even a faint possibility that we already have gone too far, wouldn't you think that all hands are on deck? We're all going one direction as a world, even though we had Paris, even though they all agreed in principle that we need to do something, it was not legally binding. It was a non-legal.
And I don't see anything happening here in Canada. So I mean, what I see happening is, right in Victoria, we got plans for $100 million highway interchange at Mackenzie and Number 1, and in Vancouver, Christy Clark is spending billions on new road bridges. It's insane. But how do we move away from the insanity?
I guess really it comes, that's why we're talking, because really we want to inform the average citizen that there's really a serious problem. Even though if you were to watch TV and you were to watch the American election cycle that's going on right now, where they're trying to figure out who's going to be the next president for the various parties, if you were to listen to the Republican side, I mean, they're all insane. They all deny climate change. I mean, didn't we just have a conference with basically every nation on Earth agreeing that it's a serious matter, that we need to do something urgently? And here they are, these bunch of idiots, excuse me, saying, oh, it's not an issue. Denying it, basically being roadblocks in the way, right? And it's not just them, it's the entire lower house and upper house. You have the Senate, that's controlled by the Republicans, as well as the House of Representatives. Congress is the right term, also being controlled by the Republicans. They're all denying climate change, or they're all being influenced by fossil fuel money that has a stake to lose, right? They don't want to lose this beautiful money-making machine that they have, but we cannot buy a new Earth with all the money in the world if we ruin this one.
Yes, that's exactly the point. So here we are at this point in time. We were talking earlier, and I had an idea. I said everybody should phone Prime Minister Trudeau's office. I don't think his number is hard to get. Phone his office, and even phone your Premier's office. Phone your politician, whoever they may be. Phone your media, and tell them, hey, why do the Canucks get like 1,000 times more coverage than climate change?
Right.
And well, I'm not sure which one is going to collapse first, the Canucks or climate change.
I don't know. It's like watching the Titanic, and everybody is still reshuffling the deck chairs, and the music is still playing, and the party keeps going. But it's clear now. It's been made clear that there's an iceberg coming. And chances are we're probably not going to be able to avoid hitting it. We're going to hit it. The question is, how many lifeboats are we going to willing to be building, to have ready? So that's the thing. And then if you look at the conflict in Europe right now, where you have all these Syrians fleeing their war-torn country, well, that conflict was really fueled by climate change because farmers couldn't grow any food anymore. They were fleeing into the cities, creating a lot of pressure on the infrastructure and the political system. And of course, Arab Spring happened. That was the spark required.
And of course, the U.S. Special Forces were
of course,
in there,
yeah. There was
so
all kinds of manipulation.
CIA.
But really, that's an example. I don't want to say this is the reason of climate change, but you can see that as an example of if abrupt climate change continues to occur, is what it looks like right now, because we keep having these increases in temperature records year after year after year. That means we're going to run out of food in various places in the world. We're going to have millions or hundreds of millions of climate refugees looking for a place where they can drink and eat. Right? Is that why this whole idea of building a wall down by Mexico is so intriguing to the Republicans? Because they all really know this is what's going to happen, isn't it? Right? When they're not going to be able to grow enough food in Mexico or in Guatemala or anywhere else in Central America, are they going to come north? Right?
Or vice versa.
Or either way, the problem is, the issue is that the problem is vast, and it's going to be even bigger if we do nothing.
So what can we do? Here we are, it's 2016, it's March. What can and should we as a nation, just forget the rest of the world, but as a nation, start to do immediately, today?
Well, I mean, people need to really look at themselves in the mirror and look, is it really important how big my car is in the driveway? Wouldn't it not be okay to have a bicycle instead? Or maybe have a smaller car? Maybe not fly to Florida or to Mexico or to Hawaii on vacation? Could you maybe not save that energy that's being wasted in the process?
And that's true of all of us.
Of course. We're all in the same, we're all guilty of this.
Yes.
Absolutely, we're guilty of this.
But we have to do less.
And you can be happy with less.
Yes,
right.
That's the big point.
If you don't have a big mortgage on your big house, you have a small mortgage on a little house, you can still be happy. The same goes for car payments. If you have a small car that doesn't cost as much, doesn't burn as much fuel, smaller car payments, you have more money left over for things that may be more valuable to you. Right? You can save up for the big trip in 3 or 4 years' time. But everybody wants rewards now. Right? And we're being sold that, these dreams that we can have it all the time by cheap credit. And now with cheap gasoline on top of it, well, God, bigger trucks have never been more attractive than now. So really we're at fault, human beings are at fault, but the system is corrupt, right? The system that's based on endless growth, economic growth, meaning we have to consume and then throw it away, and grow the population in the process, well, we're really destroying our only planet, and there isn't a second chance here, right? That is really
right.
That is really what really gets me here. So we do have Justin Trudeau, and I believe really honestly that he understands the issue, but it's difficult for him to act properly because the government needs money to run, and of course there is a lot of money interest in fossil fuels, right? In the status quo, in the car sector, that kind of. It's like a weight on your shoulder and or a weight on your leg. You cannot get out of the way.
That's very true. But
right?
But here we are. We have to start moving in positive directions. I mean, we're talking about. I mean, I think we even may have mentioned this. Open up the Bank of Canada. Use the Bank of Canada to fund, to begin with, mass transit in all of our good mass transit. Plus.
Yeah.
Homes for the homeless, right? Plus, let's solve those two problems. We can solve those two problems. Plus, it'll put people to work.
Yeah.
I mean, there is a simple solution, but it's something else that can never be talked about.
Well, what strikes me as the biggest crux here is that the population is not being told of the threat.
Yes.
If our Prime Minister or the President was really, truly serious about the issue, he would go on television and explain how urgent it is and what's at stake.
Yes.
Right?
And every week.
And it should be done not just once, it should be done over and over again. There is a reason why we had a climate conference in Paris, and there's a reason why scientists are worried. Why? Why are they worried? Well, because things are looking worse every year. Because whenever you see a new report, it says always, Oh, this is happening faster than we expected. The ice is melting faster than expected. Oh, it's hotter now than we ever thought it would be at this time of year. So things are happening faster. It's basically really, if we want to survive or have a planet that is still livable,
and we
need to pull the finger out and do something.
Okay, well,
the thing is, calling the Prime Minister is definitely a good idea. Sure, you can do that. You also have to start in your own life,
yes.
But you should need to call your local politician, find out what their stance is. We're having a provincial election coming up soon. We should find out what your local MLA, what he stands for, and put pressure on them. The fact is that we're putting all of our eggs in the fracking basket right now here in BC is just insane. And of course, we're building a huge dam, which is, if you were to listen to the David Suzuki Foundation, which sort of, they kind of got their stuff together. They understand the science. They understand what is possible. They say that's the wrong thing to do. Right? We can do a multitude of things that are way cheaper and better for the environment, but we just don't have the political will, it seems, to do it.
Well, I think the public has the political will, but the political parties don't work for us, and Christy Clark seems to be controlled by corporate interests, and that's what we have to live with.
Yes.
Time for change. Thank you very much, Werner.
Thanks for having me.
And thanks for watching this segment of Citizens Forum.